We are here to present our report, Seniors in Canada, regarding issues relating to pandemics in seniors housing.
And how future seniors housing resist and adapt in the event of an outbreak. Good day, everyone. I am Ed Gonzales.
I'm Germaine,
I'm Delfin.
and for this research, the challenge is on in Canada's aging population and low birth rate and its impending implications to the current built environment and how these built environment will adopt the needs and overwhelming demand. So basically, this will assess the adequacy of current framework of this day's built environment for seniors and why it is susceptible to illnesses outbreak. So it is to further focus on some related solution can then suggest to related authorities if the nursing typologists will eventually redesign and regroup for betterment of seniors housing in Canada. Being 60 to 65 years old is usually a requirement for becoming eligible for senior social programs, such as to be able to live in seniors housing. However, various countries and societies consider the onset of old age as anywhere from 40s to the 70s. So, as shown in this Seniors in Canada population projection table, elders aging from 65 above are expected to increase over the years, which also explains the need and demand of care for the older people. And for this table, the earlier people assess their current needs and how those needs may evolve over time, the more choices and control they will have. There are different seniors' needs to consider when deciding on a plan for the future. These are the physical, mental needs, location and accessibility, home maintenance, social and emotional needs, as well as the financial needs. In taking these considerations, people should also prepare themselves as a person who needs to deal with a certain change in the years to come. So, regarding seniors housing and the pandemic, this explains that the long-term care homes are particularly susceptible to viral diseases for plenty of obvious reasons, including that their elderly residents are more likely to be immunocompromised and extra vulnerable to viruses. So, statistics back that up to show that those 60 years of age or older make up 36% of the Canada's total COVID-19 caseload. So for us, the issue in this report is that among the adults, the risk for severe illnesses from outbreaks and pandemics increase with age, with older adults at high risk, at their highest risk. As people get older, the risk for severe illnesses from a pandemic or any form of viruses increase. For example, if you are in your 50s, you are at higher risk for severe illnesses than people in their 40s, as well as the people in their 60s or 70s in general. They are the most at high of risk than the people younger than them. So the greatest risk for a virus or illness is among those aged 85 or older due to low immune systems. So the main struggles would be the seniors housing style of living, building systems or existing utilities hygiene, prevention protocols, control of the circulation of people in the building, physical and mental wellness of everyone. So we've also researched on the types of common outbreaks in nursing homes, which are the respiratory tract infection, influenza viruses, and bacteria.
Emerging causes why seniors housing is more prone to an outbreak. Number one, lack of proper facilities intended for proper use of the staff and seniors. Number two, lack of required facilities that can control movement of people during an outbreak. Number three, understaff and frequent come and go of part-time caregivers who comes and go inside the facilities without proper hygiene control. Number 4, frequent travel of staff outside of the senior housing, which makes them vulnerable in picking and spreading the ill to the nursing homes. Number 5, lack of in-house accommodation and treatment facility as well for staff. And lastly, centralized facilities, which is uncontrollable and under infection control protocol. Why the senior housing? The COVID pandemic exposed how elderly are sitting ducks for catching deadly infections. It is partly because of the systemic deficiencies that have festered for years. Flattening the Canada's COVID-19 curve. This research is aimed to find the answers and more or less the solutions for prevent death and outbreaks in the future of the seniors' environment, where the place should have been expected to be safe and healthy. As a society see community transmission increase, they expect to start seeing increases in long-term care homes and retirement homes because this not sealed off the rest of the community. Indeed, there is no greater challenge that Canada's government is facing than the aging population. Seniors of those 65 years of age and over, the fastest growing age group in Canada, the so-called baby boomers. In 2016, 16.9% of the total population of Canada expected to increase to 24 by 2036. That is according to the Government of Canada. Report on housing needs for seniors, increased longevity, low birth rate, and maturing baby boomers generation present significant challenges to the future of Canada and its senior. Background: poorly designed buildings, insufficient communal areas, limited mobility options, and few supportive services can make it difficult for people to remain active and engaged with friends, family, and neighbors. Similarly, situations which integrate design elements that promote occasions for socialization can remain both vibrant and stable as a whole. Our research's aim and objectives is to able to provide guidelines for a living community for years to come when is resistant to outbreaks, and highlight the needs for an answer of deficiency for senior housing regarding facility management and staff control, in which will enable the responsible housing facility more resistant to an outbreak. So we came up with an output, identify the mean on how to make the senior housing adaptive during the pandemic. Secondly, enclosed space facilities of the nursing should be redesigned to incorporate adaptive environment where illness can be contained. Adaptive design of facility for the end users, which considers the number of actual users against the facilities needed. Also, identification of additional spaces required if there is an illness. Identification of foot traffic movement during an outbreak and restriction to be done. And lastly, identify the required update for senior facilities before, during, and after an outbreak. As we are able to identify the needs of senior housing, it is also important to know the seniors living typologies and its ranges that can be available, and this includes residential care facilities, the hostels, and the self-contained dwellings. So we came up with a solution. So first, cluster of seniors home to remove risky tenants. Second, provide special spaces for activities of the seniors which requires assistance or for their living. Third, control the seniors' visitors and need of support worker or staff as much as possible to provide specific rooms or isolation rooms during these scenarios. Fourth, identify the activity of seniors and delegates to them to more controlled environment and space that will avoid congestion and outbreak. Second to the last, provide a built environment spaces that is communal, private, and public space that is technology controlled to lessen personal contact. And lastly, identify the building environment special needs and amenities that will promote isolation during outbreak and increase accessibility to transportation, basic needs, and healthcare. A recent case study suggested by American Institute of Architects, or AIA, in battling the outbreaks and strategies of safer senior living communities, and they identify general hazards that administrators need to consider when adapting senior living communities safer are closer personal contact, surface transmission which includes higher touch surface, aerosol transmission of virus droplets through HVAC system, fecal or oral transmission via shared restrooms and other communal spaces. Also, a suggestion to minimize risk of transmission. First, the suggested general strategies to reduce transmission of any illnesses of the following guidelines. Provide touchless access to common doors, common equipment, accessories such as high-risk areas like toilet, dining area, sanitizing and drinking station. Evaluate the maintaining heating, cooling, and air exchange and filtration system, particularly those in common areas. Virtual visits to be encouraged for residents to keep in touch with neighborhoods, visitors, family and friends to help to keep them maintain vital emotional and social bonds. Second to the last, incorporate testing areas and protocols for prospective visitors and casual staff. Lastly, limit casual staff and the access of personal contact. Well, this image below is to provide solving solution for isolation to combat transmission. AIA also suggests the following solutions in designing, management, and controlling the outbreak of any illnesses inside the built environment of senior home. These are their suggestions. Number 1, open assembly areas with restricted occupants, provide more exterior activities in limited groups, control access to areas to limited small groups assigned to each area, limit of public visitation, washing and sanitation, provide exterior entrance to some units to limit public access to all residents, provide in-room dining area for family visitation, open up wing entrance to limit location of outside visitors, increase building pets. Number 10, add in-room dividers in cleanable and antimicrobial finishes, replace shared finishes with antimicrobial finishes, increase in cleaning protocols, increase temperature checks, increase temperature check in infrared scanners. Number 15, providing hand washing stations temporary until permanent retrofits can be installed. 16, increase cleaning protocols for high-touch staff areas. Add decontamination PPE, changing and disposal locations. And lastly, partition of long wings into smaller households with separate dining and activity areas. And for our last thing, and for our conclusion, we came up that the Canadian population is aging, baby boomers is rising at unprecedented rate. It is not surprising. This has becoming main severe and wide-ranging implications on how the built environment is to be designed against constant outbreaks, particularly ensuring that the seniors' housing is a place for home that will provide accommodation options that meet the unique physical and emotional health safety of the seniors in Canada. That is our report. Thank you. And thank you, Professor. Have a good day.